Hey there, it's Dr. Justin Marchegiani. Today's video is going to be on natural perimenopausal solutions. We'll go into what perimenopause is, and we're going to talk about how, if you're one of these people that are kind of caught in this perimenopause net, what we can do, how we can address these and get to the root cause. So first off, what is perimenopause? It's typically the menopausal symptoms that lead up. It can lead up to a couple of years, months before you menopause. So typically perimenopause after you had no cycle for 12 months. So 1 year, no period, now you're officially into menopause. And then menopause can take another 7 to 10 years, potentially with hot flashes or things like that. Perimenopause is the in-between time of that 12 months of non-period, and you're starting to have these symptoms. Maybe you're in your early 40s. Maybe you're starting to have some hot flashes. Maybe you're starting to skip some cycles. Maybe you're starting to have some female hormone irregularities in between your cycling and in between cessation period for a full month. Now, the hard part is a lot of the patients that I see, even in their 20s or 30s, they have a lot of PMS and hormonal issues that could be easily misconstrued as perimenopause. Typically, perimenopause, the ovarian reserve starting to drop a little bit, estrogen levels start to drop, progesterone levels start to drop. We may start to have more hot flashes. Some of those vaginal dryness, lower libido, mood issue, hair loss or hair thinning, hot flashes, hot flushing, missing periods, moodiness, and not just moodiness premenstrually before your period, but I'm talking about like throughout the month as well. So we have to start to see a more pattern throughout the month. And when that starts to happen, that could be a sign that we're entering into a perimenopausal time frame. Again, I see patients, though, who are in their 20s or 30s with the issue too. So it's really hard to kind of draw a line and say, okay, you're a cycling female. Times, maybe the symptoms have more throughout their month, and they're typically going to be with 30s as well. So first thing we're looking at diet. Blood sugar stability is really important. Blood sugar going up and down through refined carbohydrate, grains, or inflammatory foods is going to cause more of the adrenals to have to rescue. That's going to put more stress on things. Your adrenals are that backup generator for your sex hormones, for your estrogen that will go low. And obviously, when you're more stressed, inflamed, you're going to utilize progesterone. So you can actually have lower hormones, lower estrogen, lower progesterone, and still be estrogen dominant. This is really kind of the hallmark of what we see. Lower estrogen, but also lower progesterone, relatively speaking. So we have hormones, but we may still be on the estrogen dominant side. And that about 22 to 23 to 1 ratio are progesterone to go into estrogen dominance. So blood sugar is going to be big because we start to cause, and we start to have more adrenaline issues. We start to have lower DHEA levels. That's create issue progesterone, estrogen dominance, and these perimenopausal symptoms. Number 2 is just not enough good nutrition, going lower fat, going low cholesterol. We need these nutrients to make healthy hormones, to help grow healthy follicles, right? CoQ10, really important. Choline, really important. Fat-soluble vitamins, really important. A lot of these mitochondrial compounds are very important. Fish oil, DHA, EPA fats, very important for building healthy follicles. And again, the more inflamed we are, the more that puts stress on our stress handling system. Inflammation we have, the more that can dysregulate our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal gonadal axis. So we can see issues with LH and SH not talking to the ovaries appropriately, and then that can create signaling issues. So a lot of times we'll use certain herbs like maca or chaste, or we'll even use bioidentical progesterone to help get that cycle back on track. We'll use specific phenotypes of chaste as well to help those hormones. We have different different maca compound phenotypes of maca to help with cycling women, perimenopausal, and menopausal women. So there's different herbal phenotypes that can to help with that. We'll use chaste, we'll use other nutrients to help with the cycle. Very important. B vitamins, CoQ10, important for egg quality. DHA, the hormone from the adrenals, very important. DHA, the fish oil fat, very important. Also, healthy digestion. If we can't break down our good proteins and fats, if we can't emulsify it, if we can't absorb it, that's going to be a problem. So the low fat era, not eating enough good fats, and typically when we go low fat, we kind of go low protein. And then typically on that side of the fence is just poor digestion of those foods as well. So when we look at it, blood sugar, nutrient density, keeping inflammation down, digestion, and having enough good fats and proteins. Those are the big 5 things that we would do to address that. And then I see perimenopausal and menopausal and cycling women that are kind of in between all the time. And we look at the adrenals, we look at the female hormones, we look at the luteal phase. Where's that woman right around day 20 at the top of the luteal phase? We're looking at progesterone, estrogen, digestion. We're looking at all the news. We're looking at inflammation so we can get to the root underlying cause of why hormones are out of balance. And more importantly, we want to get females that are in this category ready so they can hit the ground running when they start going into menopause, when they have 12 cycles without a period. 12 months, I should say, 12 months without a period. That's great. That means we can get you sailing into menopause without all the nasty depression, hot flashes, mood issues, lower libido, skin and hair issues. We can minimize it as much as possible. So today's video, we're going to open it up for a little live Q&A. Keep it on the hormone menopause topic. Anything that's closely connected, I will do my best. But we do live Q&A with these great topics. Feel free. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, give me a share. Make sure you hit the bell as well. These videos are live, and even if you can't see it, throw your question in, come back later. I really appreciate it, and I want to see your comments below. Let me know what you think, and I'll come back and answer your questions later. All right, so what is going on, guys? I just had a couple of minutes here regarding invitation, so I want to get this video out. So any other questions on this topic, let me know. So a lot of things. Why do I have hot flashes? What's the etiology behind hot flashes? Off the bat, typically when ovaries start to drop, the body's like saying, hey, we got to whip that horse. We got to stimulate more egg production. So we have an increase in FSH, which can create more vasodilation and flushing. So good ovary health is important. We want to have stimulation of the brain, talking to the ovaries. So we'll use maca, we'll use chaste tree, we'll use herbals to help talk to the ovaries. We may use glandular tissue to help support that. We may even use, CoQ10. We may even use DHEA, good healthy fats and proteins to really support healthy ovarian health. What do I do about hair loss? Well, it just depends. If your hair loss is caused by a thyroid issue, that may be a different situation. So it really depends on what the root cause is. If it's a thyroid issue, we'll have to dig in and see what's going on with the thyroid. Is there an autoimmunity? Issues like perimenopausal, menopausal, or just we'll have to see what the hormones look like. If we see a patented kind of estrogen dominant pattern, then we'd work on supporting the estrogen dominance and bringing the hormones into balance. And we'd also want to supporting the adrenal glands too, because when the adrenals are stressed, they're going to make cortisol. Typically over time, that cortisol can start to, our body is making that in that stress response. Cortisol is lower, it can really pulling from progesterone and decreasing progesterone. To do about adrenal fatigue. So if we have adrenals, get tested, figure out what's going on. Are your adrenals just like a flat line? The cortisol rhythm is flat or even reverse, where it's lower in the morning, higher at night. I want to know where your DHEA sulfate levels are. Are your DHEA levels really low? That tells me your adrenals have really been whipped for a long period of time. And if that's the case, we need additional support there. Is your cortisol really high across the board? Is it up and down? Has perturbations going up and down? What does that pattern look like? So we want to figure out what that pattern like to know for sure. Now, when we're detoxifying estrogen, there's things we can use like DIM, diindolylmethane. We can do vitamin C. We can even do various others as well. These cruciferous type of compounds can be really good to help metabolize estrogen. We may even use glutathione. We may use based amino acids like methionine, glutamine, glycine, taurine, cysteine, right? These are compounds that help with glutathione, help our phase 2 detoxification systems. We can escort these body. And also, gut bacteria issues can also cause estrogen issues, because with high levels of gut bacteria, we can have an increase in an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase, and that enzyme can affect estrogen being conjugated. So we have estrogen, we conjugate it, we bind protein to it, which is kind of like, let's just say the bouncer in the nightclub grabbing the unruly pig, right? puts his arm behind his back. It's going to escort this person out of the club, so to speak. And imagine the person going, oh, I'm free. I can go back and do whatever I'm doing, right? So if your body is conjugating, it's putting people kind of in a straitjacket, so it's helping to escort them out of the body. And that dysbiotic bacteria essentially take the handcuffs on them and allow them to go back to some not so good. Estrogen detox is important. And just avoiding a lot of the estrogens in the environment's big. So avoiding estrogens in meat, in plastics, in pesticides are going to be big. So of course, GMO-free organic is going to be helpful. That's going to give you the decreased residue in round glyphosate, essentially pesticides. Number two, avoiding hormones in the meats as well. And again, keeping the pesticides out because those have residues of other hormone like metabolites. Really important. And again, my specialty, I'm a functional medicine doctor. My doctorate's in chiropractic medicine, but I've done functional medicine the last 10 years. And then I have a specialty in thyroid hormones. And I also see a lot of female hormone issues. They tend to be interlinked. Guys' hormones are just easy. It's not quite as complicated as a woman's cycle. So guys are just easier to fix. So women tend to be a little bit more of a challenge on the hormone side. And of course, autoimmunity is a big thing that affects everyone because I have an autoimmune thyroid issue myself. So more women heavily because of estrogen that has an effect on the, so we really want to make sure that we're getting, the autoimmune component also. Excellent talk here, guys. Any other questions? Feel free and let me know. If not, make sure you subscribe so you can get access to these talks in the future. I have a podcast interview tonight. It may go live. We'll see. If not, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. CST for another phenomenal Q&A session. You guys have a phenomenal night, and we will talk. Take care.